Shalom. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and all other elders outside of Great Millstone that teach the exact same thing. And salutations to the hopeful elect across the four corners of the earth, in the sincere spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, which is the name of who the world ignorantly calls God, Allah, or Buddha, or whatever other higher power one chooses to believe in. The God of Israel, whose name is Yahweh, and Yahweh Shah, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ or Yahshua, and the Holy Spirit. All right, so my name is Makara. I am not a part of any camp as of right now, due to my personal lot, trials and tribulations. But I believe, and it's not about me, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to call this lesson, but it's based on Lord willing, first the Holy Spirit. And I was watching this video of the brother Debar, a part of the DTA camp, DTA / Men of Valor camp, which these brothers believe in and teach the doctrine that the elders, bishops, and apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone teach. Lord willing, these men be a part of the elect, be part of the first fruits, the first men chosen to be woken up to go through the trials and tribulations, which is represented as fire, to carry the cross that Yahweh Shah also carried, which represents the burdens and trials and tribulations you have to go through when believing in His truth and carrying out or exercising your faith in this sinful, wicked ass kingdom. Right, so this is like I said, this is a video based on a video that I was watching from this brother, which is a beautiful video, and it hit home. It touched my spirit, and he was bringing out valid pointers, which is basics of believing and following, enduring in this truth, and I just figured I'd do a video, or the spirit jumped on me to do a video, Lord willing, to be edifying. So I'm gonna start here. This is John chapter 21, starting from the top. It says, "And after these things, Yahweh Shah showed himself again to the disciples at the Sea of Tiberias, and on this wise showed he himself. There were together Simon Peter and Thomas called Didymus, and Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, and the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other of his disciples. Simon Peter saith unto them, I go a-fishing. They say unto him, we also go with thee. They went forth and entered into a ship immediately, and that night they caught nothing. But when the morning was now come, Yahushua stood on the shore, but the disciples knew not that it was Yahushua. So this is an account after Yahushua was crucified on the cross, after the Last Supper, which was Yahushua keeping the Passover with his disciples, which the brother brought out in the video, which also we're in right now at this moment. We're in the sixth day, if I'm not mistaken, of the Passover, which is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Right, so this was after the Passover, after Yahushua was crucified, or gave himself as sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice for the sins of our nation, which is the Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Can't stress that enough. After Yahushua was crucified, after he was resurrected, after he showed himself unto his disciples, right, and so it says they caught nothing, right? Verse 4. But when the morning was now come, Yahushua stood on the shore, but the disciples knew not that it was Yahushua, right? So this was a miracle within itself. Yahushua showed himself unto his disciples, but he appeared physically as someone that they didn't know, right? Verse 5. Then Yahushua said unto them, Children, have ye any meat? They answered him, No. So, right, just through the Spirit, right? Because everything Yahushua did, everything Yahushua does, which is through the Father, Yahweh, is spiritual. Everything that we go through, everything that the hopeful elect goes through in these times that we're living in now is spiritual. And all experience is for our understanding and growth through the Spirit and of spiritual things. So it's another scripture that says all scriptures is for our learning. Salakia. Romans 15:4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime, everything that was written in the scriptures, right, contains our history. It contains the lessons that we need to know in order to survive spiritually in doing the work in the trials and tribulations that we go through now. It also contains the prophecies, which is the visions of the future. Okay. So everything in the scriptures, that's why another scripture says, seek ye out of the book, because only this one book, the Bible, contains everything that the hopeful elect needs to survive, to wake up into remembrance of who we are as a people, as an individual. You know, that's one of the sayings in the world, which is one thing that guided me through the spirit to the truth and understanding of myself, life, you know, all the understanding I came to understand at the beginning stages of my journey, my spiritual journey. Quotes or sayings of the world, they helped me. Now, one of those things was you have to find yourself. You have to find yourself. And that quote or saying with the scriptures, with the understanding of the scriptures, you understand that reincarnation exists. Reincarnation exists, meaning that everyone existed before in another time in history. In order to live up to your fullest potential or your purpose in this lifetime, you must find yourself. You must try your best to remember what type of person you were, and so that you can pick up the pieces and continue on your journey. Another saying is you have to know where you've been to know where you're going. So these things help me. These things are helpful, and they are even though they're scenes of the world, it's really sayings of the spirit that's contained inside of the scriptures in different words. All right, but the spirit is the spirit, right? Real recognize real, like that's another saying. But anyways, it says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. And so, like I said, getting back to my point, going back to John, everything that was done, that Yahushua did, was spiritual. He spoke in parables, which made it challenging to understand Yahushua, what it was that he was thinking, what it was that he was going through, and what it was that he wanted his disciples to learn from him, which that's the truth. That's the Most High. All right, that's another saying. God works in mysterious ways, and he does that on purpose. He does that on purpose because there's power in a challenge. It's one thing to give somebody something without a challenge, but it's another thing to make someone earn something, for you to want to give somebody something, but allow them to deal with challenges before they get the gift that you trying to give them. For example, if you, and the scripture speaks about this in parables as well. I'm not trying to make this long, so but so right, my point is that this truth, right, the Bible, let's deal with the Bible first, right? Due to I got closer to understanding the scriptures and the spirit from my recent studies, understanding of myself, because one thing that would, not making no excuses, because you can't make any excuses. Lord willing, I'll do a video on that. Or it's best not to make excuses. One of the challenges that I faced dealing with this truth, and I'm sure there are some who can relate, is me trying my best to be dedicated to believing this truth, to teaching this truth, which requires for you to study. But I've always had a challenge with remembering things. But the one of the things I learned about memory is that that just like everything is controlled by the Spirit and the Most High. And it's funny, or it's mysterious, or it's I guess that's good enough words. I'm trying to find the word that's on my mind, but it's challenging to Salakia. Losing my train of thought. Right. It's mysterious how you can't remember, no matter how much you try to remember a thought, a memory, an event. You can't, some things you just can't remember. It's like out of your control. But then on the flip side, there are things that you never even put any effort into remembering that you just can't forget, no matter how much you've never put any effort into actually studying or trying to remember. So the scriptures can seem confusing in the format, because what the scriptures say, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, line upon line, right? If you're taught properly, if you're taught through the proper channels, you learn that you're not going to gain the understanding, and you're going to quickly, some people more than others, get discouraged in studying, in learning, in trying to read the scriptures if you don't know how to take pieces from here, pieces from over there, and put them in the proper order, so that you yourself can understand and you yourself can explain, right? Grab this other precept, in all thy getting. Get back to the point. Damn. understanding. Salakia. See, so, and that's the beautiful thing about the Most High. He will always provide a way for you to believe, for you to do the works, for you to have no excuses on quitting, on giving up. Let me try this. Get understanding. This is beautiful. Look, because I like I said, I've always had a difficult time remembering book, chapter, verse. But what I've been studying lately has been helping me to I believe will help me to remember book, chapter, verses more better. And that's the history, which, when studying the history in itself, you gotta bounce around. But it gives you one thing about reading a story is that and you learn this in the basics of school. One thing about reading a story is it helps out a lot to understand what was going on as far as the time, as far as the season, the weather, as far as the environment, which is history, basically. And so it's helps. All right, Salakia. Psalms. This is one precept, right, that I wasn't looking for, but it came through the Spirit. Psalms 119, 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. Right. So when you learn the proper way, when you understand properly, you understand. It helps you to understand further right from wrong, the right way of doing things and the wrong way of doing things. All right, which everybody has their own way of learning, their own way, their own lot, their own path, and their own way of, their own things that they have to go through to gain a proper understanding of themselves, of life, of the spirit, of the scriptures, but once you understand the proper way of doing things, and you remember, or you see the wrong way of doing things, it causes you to to hate the wrong way or the false way of doing things. And that's why it might seem like it can seem like from the outside looking in, it can seem like it can seem like there's hate amongst Israelite camps, which there is, but there's a difference between hate, which most camps have for those that are set up to teach and lead correctly, but then which can be confused and looked at from those who are set up to teach and lead correctly. It can seem like they have this, the same hatred that, the false prophets, I'm just saying straightforward, the false prophets, the false teachers, the Sadducees and the Pharisees, the hate that they have for those who are the elect or are the chosen, right? But in all reality, if you have ears to hear properly, if the Lord is dealing with you so that you can see things properly, all right, then you understand that what seems like hate from those who are set up to properly lead and teach is actually something that is called tough love. All right, it's something called tough love. All right, which is necessary and needed. But anyways, it says that I'm gonna read it again. Through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. I'm trying to. It's one that says in all thy. Okay, here it is. Proverbs 4:7. Wisdom is the principal thing, right? Wisdom is how you use what it is that you know. You can know all the book, chapter, verses, all you want, right? And be able to break things down. But it's all about how you use it. You can have all the book, chapter, verses, all you want. You can know all the history, all you want, but if you're not taking that information, and you can be faced with someone who seems like they don't believe, but they really have the spirit of one of the elect, and if you don't use what it is that you know properly, you will fail. Which is not about you. We can't. It's not us that we can't save anybody as it is. But you want to have the know-how on how to fish, on how to catch a fish properly, reel it in, all right, bring it to shore, right. You want to have the know-how on if you had the spiritual power to know that this person that's coming up is in fact one of the elect, that would inspire you to want to know exactly the perfect words to say so that you can help seal that man, knowing that every elect member that is sealed is one step closer to Yahweh Shah making his second return and the kingdom being established and everything that comes with that. So it says wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting get understanding, right? So that's what it's all about, understanding yourself, understanding the spirit, understanding of the scriptures, the history, the current events, the prophecies. All right. But Salakia. So that's what it's all about, right? Getting understanding. Okay, so back in John 21:4, but when the morning, right? Okay, no, I was in 5. It says, then Yahweh Shah said unto them, children. So right, so now let's gain understanding on why the scriptures are written the way that they are written in this line, in this particular precept, right? Why would Yahweh Shah, after going through after putting in all the time that he put in with the disciples, why would he still be calling them children at this point? All right, because in these days the disciples didn't have the understanding that they needed for the second for the kingdom to be established. They thought that the kingdom before Yahushua was crucified, they thought that everything that Yahushua was talking about as far as the kingdom coming was going to be done in the days and those carnations that they was living in those days. All right. But they lacked understanding. And so they were spiritually still children. Okay. It says, then Yahushua said unto them, children, have ye any meat? They answered him, no. Right, which was the wrong answer. But all scriptures was written for our learning, right? Those men are here back on the earth today. These script they had to go through these scriptures and reflect on who they were in their past lives. Now that I want to say that you don't want to get hung up on the past, right? You don't want to get hung up on reincarnation. The scriptures even speaks about vain genealogies, right? Because that's a demon. That's something that men get caught up in, trying to figure out who it was that they were. Brothers call it main character syndrome, all right, which I'm not gonna lie and act like those demons haven't tried to fuck with my mind, but through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, I was able to overcome and not give in to the temptation of those demons, right? Because what? It doesn't, and the lesson that I learned from overcoming those demons, that temptation was what? That it's not, you don't need to know everything according to your understanding, according to your mind. The more, of course, the more you understand things according to your mind, the better off you should be, or you feel like the better off you should be, right? So you want to acquire this certain level of understanding according to your mind, but that's not what the Most High wants. He wants you to have enough understanding, just enough understanding to believe, for your faith to be exercised, for it to be a challenge, for there still to be some type of challenge for you to believe until the testing is complete, until you're made whole, all right, which will ultimately be once you've endured the temptation of the MOTB, all right, which is the micro C hip, right? And then because only after that will you be granted salvation and granted one of those brand new bodies that will be immortal and incapable of sinning, which causes death. All right. But like I said, I gotta read it again. Then Yahushua said unto them, right, children, have ye any meat? Then answer him, no. And why did I say that this was the wrong answer? Because what is the Passover all about? If you're taught properly, if you're taught correctly, all right? It's not about a lamb dinner. It's not about brothers fellowship, but it's a solemn meaning serious, if I'm not mistaken. It's a serious assembly. It's a serious gathering for us to reflect on our history, what it is that we're going through now in this captivity, and to better help us in our future. All right, even in the kingdom, once things is perfect, we are still going to keep this solemn assembly. All right, and reflect on all the things that we've been through as a nation in our perfection. In our perfection, we are going to humble ourselves, right? In our greatest power, in our greatest form, we're going to humble ourselves and reflect every year, forever, for the rest of eternity, right? And we're gonna remember what we went through in old Egypt. We're gonna remember what we're going through in new Egypt. We're gonna remember which new Egypt is also called Babylon the Great. All right, it's compared to, it's spiritually also what, Sodom and Gomorrah, Nineveh, Rome, Greek, right, the Greek kingdom. All right, it's this place that we're living in now is the most wicked kingdom in history, because it's spiritually all of the wickedest kingdoms in history put together, as far as morally and how they the laws that they pass. All right, so forth and so on. Salakia, I don't mean to go on and on, but right. So what is the Passover truly about? It's about our history. Showing appreciation, remembering to show appreciation of our history and everything that we went through, and most of all, the role that Yahweh Shah, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, the role that Yahweh Shah played in the whole process. All right, which I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but part of the assembly is eating of the lamb. All right, without seasoning. Okay, roast with fire. All right, the lamb, the perfect lamb, unblemished. All right, when Yahweh Shah kept the Passover with his disciples, he said, roughly paraphrasing, eat, for this is my flesh. All right, so the lamb represents Yahweh Shah dying on the cross and taking away the sins of our people, so that the Father Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God, and who the world ignorantly calls God and Yahweh, because I was watching that new Netflix thing, The Testament of Moses, and they going off so much on that show, but there is truth in it. There are things that you can learn from it. And I was watching it this morning and I was laughing or whatever, because these devils are so funny. They try to use science to understand these scriptures, and it just baffles them how how they when they try to understand spiritual things. But anyways, so when right, Yahweh Shah is the meat. That's the point. Yahweh Shah is the meat. So when Yahweh Shah asked his disciples, right, did they have any meat? And they said no. It was the wrong answer, because they should have went through enough things, or remembered in the spirit what they've been through with Yahushua, to remember that they always in spirit have the meat that they need, the substance, the most important substance, right? They also what? The bread. They also have the bread. They also have the wine. They also have the water. They all of the basic necessities that you think that you need carnally. As long as you have the spirit, the righteous and Holy Spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua Ba'ashem Kakwadash, then no matter how much you don't have, whatever you feel as though you need physically, you have enough to survive. That's it. So right, Salakia 21:6, and he said unto them, cast the net on the right side of the ship, and ye shall find. They cast therefore, Salakia, because it was a point that I didn't finish, and that's another thing. You find yourself pondering on things to say before you do a lesson, and it bothers you when you don't hit certain points, because you want to be as edifying as possible. You don't want to be confusing. You don't want to start saying something on a point and then don't finish, or don't finish properly your whole thought. But that shows the power of the God that we're dealing with, that regardless of your imperfections, the Most High will still use you perfectly, in a sense, through your imperfections of speech and your imperfections of understanding. As long as you going off of faith, whoever the Lord wants to be fed from your words, which he feeds you, they will gain the understanding that they need. All right. And so with that being said, like I said, you don't want to get caught up in who you may have been in your past lives. You don't want to be caught up in who you may be, if you are the elect, if you are 2/3, because like I said, that's something that, we all can get caught up in. All right. So it's wisdom to humble yourself. All right. Hold on to the understanding that reincarnation is real, that there is an elect and 2/3, but let it stay there and be in the moment. You wanna be who you are now in this lifetime, and let that just be enough, and live through the spirit. Okay? Salakia. I just wanted to finish that point. So John 21:6, and he said unto them, cast the net on the right side of the ship, and ye shall find. They cast therefore, and now they were not able to draw it for the multitude of fishes. Therefore that disciple whom Yahushua loved said unto Peter, it is the Lord. Now when Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he girt his fisher's coat unto him, for he was naked, and did cast himself into the sea. So now, I don't believe that Peter was naked, because that's like crazy to think of, right? Knowing that it's unlawful for a man to look upon the nakedness of another man. All right. So while when you picture this, Satan would plant in your mind that the thought of, why was he naked? If that's unlawful or whatever, but you would think, your carnal mind would think that was the case because of how it said, how he jumped up once he knew it was Yahweh Shah, and he jumped into the water. No, more than likely, I believe that he wasn't fully clothed. He didn't have all of his clothes on, which is spiritual in itself. All right, because to be naked spiritually is to lack clothing, is to lack what you need spiritually. All right, just as well as because what clothing protects you from the elements, protects you from the cold, protects you it protects you from the cold, and you have to be clothed to keep the law, so to be naked is to not have everything that you need. So, and this, like I said, at this time, right? So Yahweh Shah, once he realized that it was Yahweh Shah, I believe that Peter realized that he wasn't being on point through the spirit. All right, because if he was, then maybe he would have answered the question about the meat differently, knowing that it was Yahweh Shah. But since he wasn't on point, since he was slipping spiritually, in a sense, he saw this person who appeared to be a stranger as a stranger, and he didn't recognize that it was Yahweh Shah until he was put on that it was Yahweh Shah. All right, and then once he realized, like, oh shit, and that's our people for you. They like to surprise you. They like to pop up on you. They like to see a reaction when you're caught off guard. We love the thought of catching somebody slipping or lacking. So once Peter realized it was him, he tightened up or whatever, and he immediately went to meet Yahweh Shah. All right, so verse 8, it says, and the other disciples came in a little ship, for they were not far from land, but as it were 200 cubits, dragging the net with fishes. As soon then as they were come to land, they saw a fire of coals there, and fish laid thereon, and bread. Yahweh Shah said unto them, bring of the fish which ye have now caught. Simon Peter went up and drew the net, and just thinking through the spirit, that's also spiritual, because they were looking to catch fish, all right, but they were slipping in the spirit, right? And due to them, and until Yahweh Shah came, which tightened them up in the spirit, right? They were able to not only catch fish, but catch more fish than they can handle. All right. Right, because it's all about Yahweh Shah, you being in the spirit and remembering the importance, that perfect example of Yahweh Shah, in order for you to do the works properly, or how you would like to do the works. Okay. What Yahweh Shah said, follow me and I will turn you into fishers of men. Okay. he through his perfect example, through remembering and having Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, all right, dealing with your spirit, that's the only way you can properly gain fish. All right. John 21:11. Simon Peter went up and drew the net to land full of great fishes, 153. And for all there were so many, yet was not the net broken. Damn. All right. John 21:12. Yahushua said unto them, come and dine. And none of the disciples durst, meaning dared, ask him, who art thou? Knowing that it was the Lord. Verse 13. Yahushua then cometh and taketh bread and giveth them, and fish likewise. So this, in a sense, was reenacting the Passover again, right? John 21:15. So when they had dined, Yahushua said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He said unto him, yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He said unto him, feed my lambs, which represents the elect, those who have ears to hear, those who have eyes to see. All right. The lambs and the lambs in this scripture, and the fish. All right. So he was asking them spiritually, do you love me more? Because that's you have to. That's a very important lesson to remember, because you're, like the brother was saying in the video, you're going to develop bonds, attachments to brothers. All right, you're gonna gain feelings of joyfulness from lessons you learn from brothers, from experiences with brothers. All right. But you got to remember what Yahweh said, he is a jealous God, right? And so you have to have priorities in the spirit and make sure that you keep Yahweh first, right? Which Yahweh Shah is the embodiment of the Father. All right. And you can never remember that enough. All right. You always have to check yourself and make sure that you're not provoking the Most High or you're not to jealousy. All right. And by doing that, you have to remember Yahweh Shah and remember the role that he plays, and understand that can't nobody save you. Can't no brother save you. We can't even save ourselves. All right. That brother can't save himself. We will not have the bonds that we have with other brothers without the Yahweh Shah dying on the cross and playing a role that he had to play, and that he's still playing, right? In everything that we're going through, that we're learning, that we're experiencing. Very important. Right? And if that's the case, if you're because what? you know, you can get distracted and you can start to get in like a party sense, you know, obviously, which, you know, a lot of these camps have been doing, turning the Passover, you know. I can't stand, I could barely tolerate hearing what these other camps do. I'm not perfect. I have imperfections, right? I go through things, you know, but also it does something to me. I can't tolerate hearing or seeing the bullshit that goes on in these camps that's not right. All right, strippers at the Passover, fucking what you call it, fashion shows, fucking like concerts, inviting strangers and heathens. Yo, man, if you belong to any camp that's not doing things the right way, and you have the Spirit on you, the Lord is dealing with you for you to know and see that the camp you're involved in or you're learning from is not right. Now is the time to get away from them, because through the Spirit, I'm saying this right, Lord willing, I'll be in the right spirit. The times that we're in right now, right? The famine of the word is right around the corner. It's like it's here already. And the thing, because what? The closer we get to the main prophecy, the closer we get to the last bit of prophecies that have to come to pass, because what? At one point in time, most camps was loud. They was, and they were way more easier to find, to locate, right? And when you ran across them, they were loud as hell. Microphones and speakers, all right? The audio devices to amplify their voice, all right? It was like that was a thing, all right? To be loud, which the scriptures does say, lift up thy voice, all right? But if you notice through the Spirit, the closer we get to the micro C hip and the ICBMs, right? The closer we get to the end, it's like, and the scriptures is also, the truth is also referred to as music. The closer we get to the end, it's like the music is being turned down more and more, which makes it more difficult, makes it more challenging to believe, to find it, all right? And for those who aren't right, who try to call themselves trying to get themselves together in the last minute because they're scared, it's scary. It's even more scary, okay? Once you notice and realize that, oh shit, this is the end, and the fire is coming, and let me try to get myself together, let me try to get right, and you try to go through the proper channels, and you realize, damn, what if it's too late? That's a very scary and fearful thing. Salakia. That's what I was saying. So, right, but if the closer, and it's like the closer, like when not to bring worldly thoughts into this or whatever, but I come from a nigga background. I come from the streets, really. And so, Lord willing, it's edifying. But when, and a lot of people, not, it's not, because I'm not trying to make it about me. It's not about me, right? That's the point. And a lot of people are attracted to gangster movies, the gangster lifestyle. Women are attracted to rough and rugged, so-called that gangster mentality, that warrior mentality, right? Movies. A lot of people is attracted to that, right? And one thing about like gangster movies, and and I'm not even talking about so-called black men gangster shit. I'm talking about the mafia, right? The mob, right? You will have which they both, because our people imitate, they call themselves gangsters really after the mob, the mafia and all that, right? And the thing about, when it's time to go whack somebody, when it's time to go do a drive-by or whatever, right? However the hit is acted out, right? However the violence is acted out, they may be, may be playing music, they may be drinking, all right, or whatever, and they might not know exactly where the target is. They might be riding around, and but once they get close to their target, right? The closer they get to their target, the more they turn the music down, and when and because they want to have that element of surprise, all right? They get focused up, all right, and the music gets turned down, and when the music is off, it's too late. It's time for judgment. So back in John 21:16, he saith to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He said unto him, Feed my sheep. Right? So it's important to remember to do the work, regardless of your feelings that you may have in this truth, regardless of your feelings that you may grow for a brother, all right? And because by doing the works, by feeding the sheep, by feeding the lambs, right? That proves that Yahweh Shah is dealing with you. That proves that you have your priorities together, all right? That proves that you're in the right spirit, which is the only way of surviving in this truth and enduring unto the end. If you have to have the right spirit dealing with you. So no matter what you go through, you can survive. John 21:17, he saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, lovest thou me? Peter was fucked up, like, why does he keep asking me this, right? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Yahweh Shah said unto him, Feed my sheep. Right? So this was symbolic for staying on point. Remember what is important, which is to be in the spirit, to be spiritually minded and not carnally minded, which is the battle that we always have to deal with. You know, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, right? To be spiritually minded is life. To be carnally minded is death. All right, roughly paraphrasing and quoting, you know, these other scriptures that come to mind, right? They say the biggest war is the war within yourself. All right, and that's all the truth, you know, because the kingdom, in order to get into the kingdom, we all must die. All right, these, even, you know, even those who don't literally have to face death, their bodies are going to be changed in the twinkling of an eye if they endure until the end. And so, in a sense, in essence, these bodies are not going to be the same bodies. All right. You have something called the ego death. All right, which is you spiritually dying, you morally and egotistically being able to put that part of yourself, which is vain, which is full of vain glory, you putting that to the side and being in tune and connected with the spirit that matters most, which is the Most High. All right. And it's something about that number 3. If I'm not mistaken, it represents completion, if I'm not mistaken. So Peter didn't know everything that he needed to go through in order to reach that level of completion, of understanding. All right. But Yahweh Shah did. All right. And so that's why he said it to Peter. That's why it's contained in the scriptures for us to remember and reflect on. All right. That you're going to go through things. You're going to have to go through things that you don't even know of. All right. And how do you get through those things? By remembering the basic things which go hand in hand with the complicated things, or the things that's more difficult to understand. All right. You know, the milk and the meat. All right, they go hand in hand. You need both of them. You know, and lately, the apostles, a great millstone, they've been going through they've been doing lessons on BTTB, back to the basics, because what them being set up as the chosen leaders, the chosen the chosen teachers of Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah Ba'Shem Kakwadash, right? They have that understanding. Let me grab that. Salakia. Salakia. Right, this is Hebrews chapter, I'm going to start at 12, right? Hebrews chapter 5, verse 12. For when the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of Yahweh, right? And so who's that one, right? Because you find yourself learning from multiple men or whatever. You can learn something from anybody. You can learn something from a bum. I learned that very, very young. You know, I was taught that through the spirit very young. That you know, because you see what they call crackheads, what they call bums, those who are less fortunate, or those who are going through whatever in their life, you know, and then they're mentally unstable. You think like, damn, a righteous man, right, or a righteous person, or a person looking to be righteous, right, they think, right, like, damn, how in the fuck did this person get like this? How do I, because it's a scary thing, you know, when you don't have enough, especially for our people, you know, coming from broken homes, right, being born into, you know, poverty, right, which makes it challenging to see how you are going to survive, how you're going to prosper, you know, in your future, right? So when you see a person who's been through whatever, you don't know what they've been through, but, you know, life has caused them to be in a phase where it looks like they're hopeless. They don't have anywhere to live. They're begging for money to eat, survive. You think like, damn, how did they get there? How can I keep from reaching the same point that they're in now, right? And I you know, I was fed this through the Spirit that, you know, you can learn something from everybody, right? From people in those type of cases, right? The least you can learn from them is you know, they are a perfect example on what you don't want, or how you don't want to end up. All right, when you see homelessness, when you see people bugged out on drugs, all right, if you're in your right mind, that scares you, right? And that causes you to challenge yourself and commit to not to doing whatever it is that you have to do to not end up like them. All right, Hebrews 5:12, for the time ye ought to be teachers, right? Ye have need that one teach you again. Now who's that one? Ultimately, it's the Father, right? He sent his only begotten Son, Yahushua, to be the embodiment of him, the perfect example, the perfect teacher, right? Of what it is that we need, and that Spirit dealing with the elect, the chosen men of this world, right? It all filters through the proper channels. It's there's a hierarchy, there's an order, and that's why we give double honors. You know, that's why we give all praise, honor, and glory, right, to Yahweh, the Father first, right? Because we receive honor, we receive glory, but we have to humble ourselves, right, and understand it's not about us, and pass that honor and pass that glory that people try to give us up the channels, up to, you know. And it's just like the mafia, it's just like it's just like the mob, you know. You have to earn, you have to earn, you know, and that helps you to gain rank in the order, you know, how good of an earner you are, right? And you know, you'll get whacked. You'll get whacked for being a good earner and not passing it up through the proper channels, right? And you know, so that the Godfather can stay in his position properly and lead the mob. All right. And you know, this truth is the spiritual mob. This is the original gang bang, and not, you know, it ain't because what? A gang is a group. A gang is a group. All right. And the original groups that the Most High created was nations. All right. And the group, the nation that we belong to, is the 12 tribes of Israel. This is what we're supposed to live and be willing to die for. All right. This is what Yahushua lived and died for. All right. But what? He taught us to pass the honor and glory up to the Father at all times throughout all eternity. And that's all. And that's the basics of what Yahweh want, man. For us to be able to live life live in whatever type of situation, show appreciation, humble ourselves, and continue to give him praise, honor, and glory, because he created everything, and without him creating everything, we wouldn't have nothing. And if he chose to, he can end it all just as fast as he created it. It says, for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of Yahweh, and are become such as have need of milk. When you first learn this truth, right, you got to go through the proper channels. You have to learn the basics, which represents the milk, right, and not of strong meat, right? Meat representing the more complicated things to understand. 5 and 13. For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. Verse 14. But strong meat belongeth to them that are full of age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. So that's what it's all about. You having your senses exercised, you going through the proper channels, through the proper process with patience and faith, all right, to gain the proper understanding that you need to discern properly good and evil, to know who's right, who the spirit is dealing with, and who's not right, and who the spirit not dealing with. And ultimately, that's going to be revealed in these last days when we see who endures, who endures the temptation of not receiving the MOTB, which is the micro C hip. All right, but and ultimately, you know, I believe through the spirit that those men are the apostles of Great Millstone, and all those who believe and teach the exact same thing, like I said. And so the point was that they've been going into the what you call it, the topic of BTTB, back to the basics, because even though they have their senses exercised very well, they understand the importance. Even though they understand the meat and the complicated things, they understand the importance of understanding the milk, the basic things, and how those who are new, and you know, how much they need the milk instead of the complicated things, man. They're very, you know, and that's why we give them double honors. You know, that's why we give them double honors, because they truly do deserve it. Not, you know, not bandwagon or nothing. All right, so reading on John 21:18. See how long? 21:18. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, when thou wast young, thou girdest thyself and walkest. Is this it? Was that the point that I wanted to? I think that was it. That was the point, right? Right. That was it on that. So I almost end this. All right. Let me grab was it this? Damn, where was that? Salakia. Okay, so right, this is a precept. 1 Peter 4:17. Right, 1 Peter 4:17, right? So it says 1 Peter 4:17, for the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of God. No, I'm gonna still go there real quick. I'm about to end this. Thought I had it already. Hold up. Oh, okay. It is right here. Luke 14. Okay. Luke 14 and 25. It says, and there went great multitudes with him, and he turned and said unto them, if any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. So your family, anybody even in this truth, anybody who you grow bonds with, attachments with, all right, if you get caught up in those feelings more than keeping Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah first, and it causes you to get distracted, get comfortable, and not be living up to your fullest potential, then the most what it says, it says he cannot be my disciple, which means a disciplinarian, right? You have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined, right? In order to learn properly, right? Which takes focus, right? Which takes focus of you remembering what's most important, right? Which is first the Father, then the perfect example of Yahweh Shah, right? And how you have to be in the Holy Spirit in order for you to be in unified with the Father and the Son, all right? Luke 14:27, and whosoever do not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple, right? Yahweh Shah being a perfect example, you had to go through all the things in spirit that he went through, even down to physically, all right? You have to die. You have to die spiritually. You have to go through the fire spiritually, all right? Because everybody is gonna have to go through the fire. It's either gonna be the spiritual fire, which only the elect can go through and survive, or you're gonna have to go through the physical fire, all right? Which the 2/3 are going to be forced to have to deal with, because they didn't go through the spiritual fire, all right? And only the elect will survive the spiritual fire and the physical fire, all right? And be saved, right? And how is the elect gonna be saved from that physical fire, from Yahweh Shah making his second return with the multitudes of what the world calls UFOs, which are the chariots of God, the vehicles in which who the world enemy calls Jesus Christ, and the angels traveling the same way Yahweh Shah was brought up into the heavens after he was resurrected, right? That's the only way you're going to be saved. And whosoever do not bear his cross and come after me cannot be disciplined, right? Cannot be my disciple, cannot be disciplined and go through what they had to go through before they reach the level of completion. Verse 28, for which of you intending to build a tower, this is the point, for which of you intending to build a tower, which we're the elect is spiritually building what? The third temple, right? Which the first time the temple was created was under Solomon, It was destroyed. It was destroyed, if I'm not mistaken, by the Assyrian captivity, right? Then under the Persian captivity, the Lord put the spirit on the Persians to allow us to after, right? Because what, you had the Assyrian captivity, the Medo-Persian captivity, you know, the power exchange from the Assyrians to the Persians. No, from the Assyrians to the Babylonians, Salakia, from the Assyrians to the Babylonians to the Persians, right? And so the temple was destroyed under the Assyrians, right? Then, and we were right. That's when the 10 tribes was led away captive, right? We went into slavery under the Assyrians, right? Then the Babylonians conquered the Assyrians, right? And since we were in captivity, now we were in captivity under the Babylonians, and then the Persians, right? The Medo-Persian Empire came up, and the Most High put the spirit on the Persians to allow our people to rebuild the temple, which was the second temple, right? Which was destroyed in 70 AD, if I'm not mistaken, under the Romans, right? And so now we're living in a time now, we're waking up, we're coming back into remembrance of who we are, you know, of everything important in the spirit, right? And we're spiritually building the third temple, all right? That number 3 again, right? So it says, for which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it, right? So this is wisdom, if you know, because not everybody is meant to be teachers, not everybody is meant to be prophets, all right? But you're supposed to want to be, as a man, you're supposed to want, as an Israelite man, you're supposed to want to be a prophet, all right? But you have to understand, you know, because everything is not for everybody, right? So, you know, if you're new to this truth, if you're new to this thing, make sure you humble yourself, you sit down, you listen, right? You listen, you don't get a spirit of hurrying up to learn this truth so that you can jump out there and teach, because it just might not be for you. All right. But once you start, you can't stop. You can't stop. It's not wise. It's not wise to stop. All right. Which we all go through things. All right. And ultimately, if the Lord dealing with you, He dealing with you. You know, you're gonna make it. And if you're not, you're not. Right. But you know, it's wisdom to, you know, from personal experience, to consider what role the Most High wants you to play in this truth. And it's okay. Don't beat yourself down if you don't believe that you are a prophet before putting your hand to the plow and starting to teach and starting to do the work and starting to go out on the highways and byways and, you know, call yourself a prophet. All right. But at the same time, perfectly balanced, right? At the same time, also beware that if you are meant to be a prophet, if you are meant to be a teacher, and you are meant for greater things than just being a help, right, towards this truth, then no matter what you do, you're going to be led to do, you're going to be led to be a prophet. You're going to be led to be a teacher. And if you don't do it, the Lord will bust that ass. The Lord will, Salah, the Lord will put you through something for you to realize what it is that you supposed to be doing, all right, to get you to reach your fullest potential. Salakia. For which of you intending to build a tower, right? So the brother, the elder, right, brought this out to me, and he said, you know, the tower is likened unto yourself, right? The tower is likened unto yourself, right? And you know, like a watchtower, it resembles the letter I. It resembles the letter I, right, which spiritually and symbolically can be represented as yourself, right? So yeah, we're spiritually supposed to be building a tower, but you have to first work on yourself, right? And build yourself up, or allow the spirit, or you know, or the spirit got to be dealing with you for you to be built up properly, right? It says whether you have sufficient to finish it. Verse 29. Right, so you want to take consideration of everything that you possibly want to learn. You know, Lord willing, you be taught through the right men, right? You want to learn, listen, which comes from listening, right? You want to learn how to do the works properly. You want to learn how to survive in this truth until the end. You want to learn what will you want to consider what you may possibly have to go through from choosing to live your life according to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Kakwadash, right? Verse 29, lest happily after he have laid the foundation, right? What's the foundation? The basics, right? Which also is Yahweh Shah, right? He said, I am the root and the branch, right? I am the rock, if I'm not mistaken. Right? He should be our foundation, right? Where we start to build ourselves up from, right? Less happily after he have laid the foundation, right? So you don't want to have a false sense of a good foundation, right? And even if you do, you know, you don't want to have, right? You don't want to have a false sense of the proper foundation and get excited and feel like you're good, you're comfortable, and you're chosen, and you did enough works to be saved, right? And which will distract you and or can possibly distract you and cause you to not live up to your fullest potential and do the works how the Lord wants you to do the works, right? Lest happily after he have laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, right? You're gonna laugh at yourself, or you're gonna get mad at yourself. Them spirits, them demons gonna haunt you within your mind, and what without brothers mocking you, without brothers laughing at you, without people, because you know, one thing about our people is that we nosy as hell. They always want to be in somebody else's business, all right? And so whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, you're being watched by everybody who knows you. Because what? Our people are suffering so much that it's mysterious on how we can be prosperous, on how we can succeed. regardless of the things that we're forced to deal with, such as poverty, such as broken homes, such as which is all a part of the curses, right? Such as violence in our communities, right? All of the challenges of life, right, which our people have seem to deal with way more challenges than other people, right? And it seems just like hopeless or impossible for us to succeed. So anybody who knows you is always watching, and even when they not actually seeing you, they thinking about, damn, how the fuck is he able to do what he do? I know he just came home from jail, but how the fuck he been home for 3 months and I ain't never been locked up, and this nigga got a job, this nigga got a business. I mean, it's the Lord put you in the thought of other people, and put the thought of other people in your mind, right? And it's and always wondering how is this person doing? So if you call yourself, you call yourself being an Israelite, you start telling people you're an Israelite, you start changing ways about yourself, change your lifestyle, and then next thing you know, you telling people, oh no, I'm not an Israelite, I don't believe that, I don't be with the brothers. Not only is it gonna fuck with, is that gonna fuck with your own mind? Them demons gonna plague your own mind, right? And even when people are not laughing at you, not making fun of you, you gonna feel like they are, right? And they, in fact, someone, in fact, might even say it. Like, remember, you used to believe in that Israelite shit? Yeah, man, I knew that was bullshit. I mean, and so it says, less happily after he have laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. Or what king going to make war against another king sitteth not down first and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000. Right? It's you have to have faith to be a king or leader in war, right? With 10,000 soldiers going up against an army of 20,000 soldiers, right? You have to properly plan, right? Proper planning prevents poor performance. If that's the case, then improper planning promotes poor performance, right? So you want to plan properly. You want to figure out what's the best strategy, what's the best route in succeeding, right? Before you go out trying to win the war, before you start to build the tower. Because once you start, right, you can't stop. It is not wise to stop. Luke 14:32. Or else while the other is yet a great way off, he sendeth an ambassage and desireth conditions of peace, right? And so right, we're not only are we at war with ourselves, which is what? Our new selves, right? Spiritually, changing from who we used to be, right? Because we all went off, we all fell off as a whole nation. We all committed sins, we all have sins, right? But and so once you're reborn spiritually, there's always a constant fight against your old self, right? That makes it challenging to remain in the spirit and being a new person that you are, right? And also we're at war spiritually, right? The weapons of our warfare are spiritual but not carnal, right? We're spiritually at war, which is going to turn to a physical war with all the nations that have ever came up against us and had a hand in our downfall, right? This is the only way we're going to win, be able to actually win or have any chance of winning this war, right? Is through the spirit, with the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, right? So that's the first thing you want to remember, right? Even in the history, any wars that our people won, it was only won because the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah was dealing with us, right? Anytime we was keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, right? We were successful and prosperous at war. Couldn't no nation fuck with us. But as soon as we went off worshiping other gods, breaking the law, statutes, and commandments, that's when the other nations would gain power over us, be able to take us into captivity, and that's the only way that they would be able to stay in power. And if you notice, if you pay attention, right, if the Lord is dealing with you properly, that's what the war, that's why it's always wars over there in the Middle East, because the land of Israel is truly the Holy Land. But if you're in that land and you're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, which it's ordained for the nation of Israel, the Israelites, not the Israelis, to it's ordained for us to have control over that land and to prosper in that land and to forever. It's for us to have control and dominion over that land, being the center of the earth, right? Through having control over that land is the only way you can have control over the rest of the earth. And that's why nations are fighting over there to get that to get control over that land, which as it stands, the so-called white man, or right, the nation of the Edomites, right? Right, since they have control over that land right now, they are the ones who have control over the earth. It makes perfect sense. They are the ones who have our people in captivity, just like the Assyrians did, just like the Babylonians did, right? Which the power transferred from one nation to the other nation. As long as they had us in captivity, they were the dominant force. They had the strongest military, right? They had the strongest economy on the face of the earth, right? So we're at war with all of our enemies, right? And we're not supposed to be looking for peace with our enemies. Only after conquering and defeating all of our enemies will there be peace on earth, right? Only from conquering your old self which comes from being in the right spirit, will you be able to be at peace with yourself in this truth. All right. But if you looking to make peace unrighteously, from giving up and quitting, right? Out of a false sense of fear of how you're going to survive, or not having faith, right? Then at the end of the day, you're not gonna make it. You're gonna try to you're gonna try to make peace with ultimately making peace with these nations, with the nation of the so-called white man, right? You're gonna ultimately be led to take the micro C hit, because you're not gonna see how you can survive without receiving that. Once it's made mandatory for you to have that, to be successfully a part of society, a member of society. All right. So it says, or else while the other is yet a great way off, he sendeth an ambassage and desireth conditions of peace. So likewise, whosoever he be of you that forsaketh not all that he have, he cannot be my disciple. Salt is good, but if the salt have lost its savor, right? We're the salt of the earth, but what's our savior? Our savor, right? Which, let me see what that word is in G3474. Morino, right? And it says to make flat, as tasteless, to prove a person or thing foolish, to be foolish, to act foolishly, to make foolish, right? And what is that? The spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. All right, through it's a foolish thing for us to, in this world, right? From outside looking in, it's a foolish thing, or seems like a foolish thing for us to believe in everything that we believe in and living our lives the way that we're living our lives, when you can be doing anything else in the world, trying to get rich and be happy, have a false sense of happiness right now. That's how the world looks at us, as foolish, right? And it's because of what it is that we believe in, right? So the savor is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, right? To make flat and tasteless of salt that has lost its strength and flavor. What is our strength? What gives us our flavor, right? What gives us our power? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, the Father through the Son and the Holy Spirit, right? Salt is good. We are good. Yeah, we the Israelites, right? We make everything look good, right? We got the swag and all of that, right? We're the coolest people on the face of the earth, you know. But if the salt have lost his savor, right? We ain't nothing. If the salt has lost his savor, wherewith shall it be seasoned? How are we going to be the salt that we are supposed to be, right? How are we going to live up to our fullest potential, right? Which is ultimately ruling the whole earth magnificently, right? Establishing peace on the face of the earth, right? That's our purpose. That's what we're supposed to be living up to, right? How are we going to get there without Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, the Father through the Son and the Holy Spirit? It is neither fit for the land, nor yet for the dunghill, but men cast it out. He that have ears to hear, let him hear. Right? It's not fit for the Holy Land, right? If you know, you being an Israelite without Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah Ba'ashem Kakwadash, right? You have no purpose. You have no purpose as an Israelite, and you're not gonna find any place properly on earth without the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. That's why the brother, going back to the brother Debar, right? One of the things that he said was, what did he say? Salakia. Oh, one of the things he said was, no matter how much money you have as an Israelite in this world, you still go through shit. You still got to go through the curses, and you're not going to ever truly be happy, because what? You don't understand yourself, and you're not going to ever be able to fully live up to who you are supposed to be. You can have all the money in the world, but you're not going to really feel complete without. You can't feel complete. You're not complete without the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah Ba'ashem Kakwadash. So that's the point, man. All right, and just one more precept, Salakia. What was it? Right. 1 Peter 4:17. For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of Yahweh. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of Yahweh? Right. And that's why there's so much shit going on, not only in the world, right, but with our people, you know, as far as P. Diddy, right, as far as Meek Mill. I just, you know, it's bullshit gossip, but it's also also prophecies coming to pass. It's judgment beginning with our people, right? Our people is being exposed. What we look up to in the world, right, is rappers, basketball players, football players, fucking movie stars, right? Those of our nation, right, that seem to reach a level of success that we aspire to reach, right? They're being exposed, right? How are they being exposed? That no matter how much money they got, they are still no matter how much money they got, they have no purpose, no true purpose in life, right? They're not gonna make it into the kingdom 9 times out of 10, right? And the dunghill, right? Right? Because it says it is neither fit for the land being the holy land, the land of Israel, the kingdom being established forever, which is in the future, right? They're not fit for that, nor yet for the dunghill. What is the dunghill? The place, the gathering of the rest of the nations. All right, the rest of the nations are compared to as nothing, as shit, right? As spittle, right? As a drop compared to the ocean, right? Roughly paraphrasing all of that, right? They, no matter how much money and no matter what level of success you reach in this world, right, in the eyes of the rest of the nation, you still ain't shit, man. You still look down upon, and we're being exposed for just how much our people try, no matter how much our people try to fit in with this world and be a part of this world, we do not belong. That is not our true purpose as a people in this earth, right? So it's bullshit news and information, right? But you got the Diddy shit going on, right? And you know, I don't know what's true and what's not, right? But he's being exposed for his wickedness. They said Meek Mills and other people was caught up in, you know, his madness, right? So they're being exposed, right? 50 Cent, his wife, supposed to be caught up in that madness. Then now they got now 50 Cent supposed to be looking to get custody over his kids because he found out that his baby mother, right, Salaki, his baby mother was caught up in all that Diddy shit or whatever, and she trying to say that she was abused or raped. I don't know, right? That's the judgment beginning at the house of Yahweh. Who's the house of Yahweh? The nation of you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, right? And if it first begin at us, what shall be the end of them that obey not the gospel of Yahweh? So we all gonna be tested. We all gotta go through things. The judgment must begin at us. Must begin with our people before the end comes, right? Before the Most High passes judgment, the ultimate judgment, which is by way of thermonuclear fire, right? Those ICBMs, right? Which is soon to come, right? But what? Jacob's trouble must come to pass first, right? All hell must break loose, and we are very, 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 very close to that time. All right, so do what you gotta do, man. Do what you gotta do, and don't let nothing stop you from reaching this point right here. This is a very beautiful picture. All right, they said a picture says 1,000 words, right? This is how we should envision ourselves, right? This is true peace. This is our full potential, our true purpose as Israelites, right? In this world, right? To be in power, right? To have full power under the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, over the earth, over all of our enemies who try to bring us down and keep us down, right? And that's what it's about, man. All right, so Lil Will, that was edifying. Salaki, it was a little, it was long. It's gonna take some time to load up or whatever, but I hope this helps someone out there. So once again, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone and all other elders and teachers outside of Great Millstone who teach the exact same thing. And salutations to the hopeful elect across the four corners of the earth in the sincere spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Shalom. I know this ain't stopped.